Welcome back to our Intelligent Study Design series. Today we'll be covering the build of randomization and trial supply management. We pick up where we left off from our last video in building out the EDC, building out the forms, the event schedule, and logic. And the great thing about Zelta's unified platform is that as I'm building, I never have to leave. Now I can go and start configuring the optional modules. For each trial, I can decide which modules I want to use. I simply do that under our Design Attributes optional menu by going in and selecting the individual module that I want to use, whether it's eCOA, eConsent, randomization, or what we call inventory and dispensing management. For each of the modules, I simply decide yes or no. Am I using it for this particular trial? If no, it zips up. If yes, it presents you with options for configuration. For example, inventory. Do I want to use floor sealing or predictive resupply? How many lead days for a shipment? Am I using some of the out-of-the-box integrations or any of the other additional options below? I could configure the optional module by clicking here, or if I scroll all the way up, I can see what modules I'm actually utilizing for my particular study and go and let's configure randomization now. Zelta supports all kinds of trial designs, whether it's just your standard multiple stratification, active versus placebo type trial. But it also supports replacement randomization, multiple randomization, crossover trials. A variety of different levels of complexity can be handled. In this case, in our demo study, we have a pretty straightforward gender-based stratification with a replacement opportunity as well as a couple different treatment assignments with crossover. To set up the different factors that are required for stratification, I picked from a list of a variety of different things. In this case, I'm using gender, as mentioned, as one of the data values. Now, because I'm building it in the same place I've built out the EDC, you'll see a very similar logic editor where I'm going to tell the randomization module where to go find the gender. It helps guide me. I know that my demographics form is in pre-treatment. In my screening, demographics is equal to a male or a female. So again, never having to remember what did I put for male or female, and all the while it's checking my work for errors. So let's select male. And of course I can add more items if I needed to with a variety of different operators and operands available to inform the randomization module. So I simply build out my expression and click on save. And now I've built out the randomization factor for male, and I could do so for female for rand assignments and so on. Now the next place I want to go, instead of for inventory and dispense, you would see some very similar factors. So in this case, I'm going to the next step of where I'm going to actually perform the dispensation. Now for randomization, it's a simple status move, but for dispensation of product, I'm going to the event and I'm creating a long-term follow-up. So where we have some dispensation, here's some information about eligibility and accountability. And now I'm going to configure the dispense option. So in this case, I want it to happen from this dispensation new, just the name of a form. I can add instructions to the user. And a couple other options are available. Click add, and I have now set up both randomization and dispensation in the study. Of course, there are more configurations, but that's what I really wanted to cover in this particular video. Thanks for tuning in to the latest video in our Intelligent Study Design series. Part of our mission to help your clinical research team accelerate study builds, operate with complete control, and tailor your study setups with unrivaled flexibility. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you all on the next one.